When I'm 24, come was and be almost say, where they do na me if you say, I summer at 2 yina. And JP, yes, auntie Assamda. Na me couple there, na many ha. Weekend dear number be doing so, baby, and will be a mete. Sa summer at 2 yenny. Ya buy and so na no boy and man ye. What my you dear is here. The dame metaka say, Assemble or eba, now per casa saying, Yana will you must son. Intini be breaker. The vacancy of a mamma yako. Titru mofrano. No montea sense to say in our share. I be so mumu. A band sanoa. Said the enim no obiane acquire wa faswa. Nipano washe nadi. Inti na acquire faswa yisuno. Inti a bestre. Nina so yama bibianye ajubro. Bibianye bokoro. Na intimi. Inja no kwan sadia efata ye kase ebetena ne aka na asemo a ade besaye enyina ye nim ade a woye enyina ye nim obra wa enti de be kan se ebesre yakopon onfa nsie no ma ye nso so akokoduru de oye ya ye pe ya enim se ye bebrebe nu ye nto aso enti nyame fa ne kransie no ma ye nyina nso asomdwe bedamase. When I'm 24, come was and be almost say, where they do na me if you say, I summer at 2 yina. And JP, yes, auntie Assamda. Na me couple there, na many ha. Weekend dear number be doing so, baby, and will be a mete. Sa summer at 2 yenny. Ya buy and so na no boy and man ye. What my you dear is here. The dame metaka say, Assemble or eba, now per casa saying, Yana will you must son. Intini be breaker. The vacancy of a mamma yako. Titru mofrano. No montea sense to say in our share. I be so mumu. A band sanoa. Said the enim no obiane acquire wa faswa. Nipano washe nadi. Inti yina acquire faswa yisuno. Inti a bestre. Nina so yama bibianye ajubro. Bibianye bokoro. Na intimi. Inja no kwan sadia efata ye kase ebetena ne aka na asemo a ade besaye enyina ye nim ade a woye enyina ye nim obra wa enti de be kan se ebesre yakopon onfa nsie no ma ye nso so akokoduru de oye ya ye pe ya enim se bebrebe nu ye nto aso enti nyame fa ne kransie no ma ye nyina nso asomdwe bedamase.
The best I can give you is your education. So don't start looking at my properties and thinking that is yours. The only thing you have is your head and how you use it. And I will make sure my money helps you to improve on what you have in your head. So at no point did I think I was going to inherit my father. The best I can give you is your education. So don't start looking at my properties and thinking that is yours. The only thing you have is your head and how you use it. And I will make sure my money helps you to improve on what you have in your head. So at no point did I think I was going to inherit my father. The best I can give you is your education. So don't start looking at my properties and thinking that is yours. The only thing you have is your head and how you use it. And I will make sure my money helps you to improve on what you have in your head. So at no point did I think I was going to inherit my father.
We all do know that through her 31st December Women's Movement, Ghanaian women rose to the occasion and took their pride of place, not only at the sidelines, but at the heart of our economy, at the heart of our politics. And many of us grew up watching her lead the way and, show symbolically that women can do politics, women can earn their own incomes, women can own and run businesses. this was her life's work. It was sad that towards the end, she had to break away from the NDC, and I know that there are some actions that were being taken to see her possible return to her own legacy, the legacy that
very much for the opportunity. I think to start with, when we're looking at women in agribusiness, we need to consider the land tenure systems in our various jurisdictions, because most of the time the women do a lot of the heavy lifting, but when it comes to the fair wages, when it comes to the rights, they don't own the land, and therefore they can't even use it as collateral. The studies show that women tend to pay their loans back more at high rates than the men do. But the barriers to women getting loans, especially the so-called grassroots women, is the fact that they don't have collateral that they can actually use in order to avail of the loans, which basically means that the most vulnerable women end up being the ones who have the least amount of access to exactly the thing that we're trying to use to build them, which is the financing. In addition to that, I think that as we look at women in the cross-border issues with regards to the 90%, perhaps we should be looking at a situation where every country at the border posts should have a certain quota of female officers who are customs and immigration officers, to make sure that when women are coming through the border, there is that sense of added protection by the presence of other women there as well. And then, of course, on the more controversial reparations issue, I think that we shouldn't just look at the issue of slave trade as slave trade. We need to look at it as a conquest and people who are taken as prisoners of war. And if we can look at it through that lens, we may be seeing a different way in which we can approach this issue of reparations. Most of those countries, the US and the countries in the European Union and the EU, that built their countries, built it on the slavery, on the blood, on the toil of Africans who were taken against their will. They never had to sign unfair trade agreements. They never had to sign on to contracts that put them at a disadvantage. So when we're looking at reparations, let's look at it in kind as well. How can we have these people, in paying back, actually help us in terms of rebuilding our roads, setting up the infrastructure we need, whether it's the IT, whether it's electricity, power, all of the things that will make us leapfrog into the space that we really need to be, to give us a solid base on which to build everything else that we're talking about in terms of women's empowerment and support of economies. Thank you very much. And
thank you. The next.
Thank you. And in conclusion, I think that we should put financial value to what the women bring to the table. Too many women are working, they're paid, they're not paid, the work is not recognized. We must put a financial value on the unpaid labor of women on the continent in order to make sure that more women are empowered. Thank you very much.
Tell me I know what to do, my talent is not in a book. No many people were losing because they were school. Then hey, they told me the truth, cause the condition and programming they're going through is blocking whatever is good that they came with. They came with. People are killing it, that is the fact. The scholars are wondering how they do that. Physicists, chemists are calling them facts. They name me and shaming me, jealousy, Hypnotizing the masses to cast the blessings and blessings or into the fire. Surrender, open up. It's that hard when you come up with something that is different. I put my heart into my brain, and where would be? Don't want nobody to tell me I know what to do. My talent is not in a book. No many people were losing because they were school. Then hey, they told me the truth. Cause the condition and programming they're going through is blocking whatever is good that they came with. They came with. People are killing it, that is the fact. The scholars are wondering how they do that. Physicists, chemists are calling them facts. They naming and shaming with jealousy and hypnotizing the masses to cast the blessings and blessings or into the past. Surrender, open up. It's that hard when you come up with something that is different. I put my heart into my brain, and where would be? Don't want nobody to tell me I know what to do. My talent is not in a book. No many people were losing because they were school. Then hey, they told me the truth. Cause the condition and programming they're going through is blocking whatever is good that they came with. They came with. People are killing it, that is the fact. The scholars are wondering how they do that. Physicists, chemists are calling them facts. They naming and shaming with jealousy and hypnotizing the masses to cast the blessings and blessings or into the fire. Surrender, open up. It's that hard when you come up with something that is different. I put my heart into my brain, and where would be? Don't want nobody to tell me I know what to do. My talent is not in a book. No many people were losing because they were school. Then hey, they told me the truth. Cause the condition and programming they're going through is blocking whatever is good that they came with. They came with. People are killing it, that is the fact. The scholars are wondering how they do that. Physicists, chemists are calling them facts. They naming and shaming with jealousy and hypnotizing the masses to cast the blessings and blessings or into the fire. Surrender, open up. It's that hard when you come up with something that is different. I put my heart into my brain.
Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Ghana, express our profound appreciation to the organizers, the International Fund for Public Interest Media, the Forum on Information and Democracy, and our co-host, the Republic of France, for convening this timely and consequential meeting. To the distinguished heads of state and government, experts, civil society actors, and journalists who have enriched these discussions with your perspectives, I say a heartfelt thank you. Throughout these sessions, we've confronted one of the defining challenges of our time, and that is how to defend truth and sustain trust in an era where disinformation, manipulation, and technological disruption threaten the very foundation of our democracies itself. This gathering has reaffirmed the profound truth that information integrity is not merely a media concern. It is a matter of national security, economic stability, and democratic survival. We've heard powerful voices reminding us that access to reliable, verified information is a fundamental human right and a prerequisite for peace, justice, and sustainable development. This conference has talked not only about tangible outcomes have emerged, including the endorsement of the Paris Declaration on Multilateral Action for Information Integrity and Independent Media, reaffirming our collective commitment to free, independent, and pluralistic information ecosystems. It has also endorsed renewed political and financial commitments to replenish the International Fund for Public Interest Media, targeting €130 million between 2026 and 2028 to support independent journalism worldwide. The establishment of a consultative committee to enhance coordination among states, civil society, and the Forum for Information and Democracy. And also, above all, a shared understanding that the defense of truth must now be a sustained and collective endeavor, transcending national and institutional boundaries. I'm pleased to announce that Ghana has formally decided to assume full membership of the Partnership for Information and Democracy. This decision has been officially communicated through the appropriate diplomatic channels, affirming Ghana's unwavering commitment to the principles of transparency, accountability, and open governance. Our landmark decision sends a clear message to the international community that Ghana remains steadfast in advancing the frontiers of freedom, upholding the rule of law, and serving as a nation that promotes democracy and good governance. In addition, I'm proud to declare that Ghana will become the first African country to make a financial contribution to the International Fund for Public Interest Media. This gesture reflects our conviction that independent journalism and reliable information are indispensable public goods. The time has come for all of us to translate our shared ideals into tangible action, to demonstrate genuine commitment to supporting public interest media and safeguarding the integrity of information. Together, we must work to win the global war against misinformation and disinformation. We leave this conference reminded that disinformation is not an abstract issue. It is shaping elections, it distorts public health response, it fuels conflicts, and undermines the fight against climate change. A decade after the Paris Accord, falsehood continues to erode public confidence in science and policy. If we're to build a sustainable planet, we must also make an informed public. Likewise, the dawn of artificial intelligence has transformed the information landscape. While AI offers immense opportunities for innovation, it also amplifies the risk of misinformation and economic disruption. Deep fakes, synthetic media, and algorithmic manipulation are reshaping what our societies perceive to be the truth. Our collective task must therefore be to harness AI responsibly, to promote transparency, and to ensure that technological progress strengthens rather than undermines public trust. As we close, let us be clear. Independent journalism is not a luxury, it is a public good. When journalists can hold their governments accountable, societies flourish. When truth is defended, peace is preserved. And when citizens can access reliable information, democracy endures. So the message from this conference is unmistakable, that the world must invest in truth as deliberately as it invests in infrastructure, in energy or defense. The cost of inaction will be far greater than the cost of those commitments. And so finally, let us leave Paris with a renewed determination to support journalists and institutions that stand for integrity and accountability, to demand transparency and ethical responsibility from digital and AI platforms, and strengthen international cooperation to protect information as a shared global asset. In the words of the late Nelson Mandela, a critical, independent, and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. That conviction must guide us as we translate the outcomes of this conference into lasting global action.
We need to really put in place systems that deal with the entire spectrum, right from the subtle, the propaganda, all the way to the outright misinformation and disinformation that takes place. Ghana also would want to bring to bear the economic consequences of this misinformation and disinformation. It raises the cost of capital. Africa currently has an annual infrastructure deficit of about $130 to $170 billion. When misinformation and disinformation continues about how risky it is to invest in Africa, investors shy away, and what it means is that poverty increases, and what it means is that thousands of young people from the world's youngest continent will want to migrate, no matter how risky it is, to Europe. And then we have the immigration crisis here. Also important for us in this meeting to recognize that we are losing children, we are losing many, many citizens of this world because of the public health implications. There was a recent report in our country about how misinformation and disinformation, which is driven by profit, because in this discussion we must also call out the capitalists who don't care once money will be made. So fake drugs, fake efficacies are claimed, and it's leading to conspiracy theories. Children are not being vaccinated, and pregnant women are staying from the right medications, and people are dying en masse. So this has also led to a public health crisis. So I think that if we put all the issues in this proper context, we will appreciate the urgency and how all of us have a role to play in formulating the right policies, carrying out the right interventions, calling out what has to be called out in very clear terms, And I'm glad that later today my president will be here to make some significant announcements about Ghana's contribution to this pandemic, which all of us must be committed to addressing. And I want to salute everybody here for giving this topic time and resources and convening so we can find a solution. Thank you very much.
Opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made by the Honorable Forson, asking for the Backbenchers Day. And Mr. Speaker, to remind us that all of us entered this house as backbenchers. On your day of entry is your day you are emerging having been elected as member of parliament. Mr. Speaker, parliamentary practice, we are told throughout the world, is based on experience. That is why it's my wish that every backbencher will have an opportunity to rise through the ranks, through the middle bench, even to become the front bench and to lead. But they can only lead if we give them an opportunity to learn. But Mr. Speaker, they themselves must be ready to learn. And when we say they must be ready to learn, in particular for Ghana, two important things. Is the member of parliament familiar with the provisions of the 1992 Constitution? Yes, he must. If for nothing, from Article 106 to 124, every member of parliament must keep a memory of it. If he is the kind of member like the Honorable Abu Jinapo, then he can add the chapters on fundamental human rights and freedoms, because Parliament is the guardian of those rights and freedoms. You can add it to 106 so that you learn the section that deals with. Because in a country where there is rule of law, the most fundamental thing would be, so that's why this house at all times, when the right and freedom of any person is infringed upon, we must be worried and concerned, because that is the gravest threat to the practice of democracy. But Mr. Speaker, in discussing Backbenchers Day, I'm happy your clerks at table are here. This house, we must improve upon our own practice. I recall, Mr. Speaker, your good self, you were in the meeting. Even in Akusumbo, when we went through the long period from, I should pay respect to the Honorable Papo Owusu Ankuma, Yilechre, and the rest, when they said that Parliament must change its standing orders. I recall, Mr. Speaker, in one of the meetings where you were, I contested, but I was defeated. Today, I'm on it. I kept telling them to declare a minority day in the standing orders of this house, and that day must be solely reserved as a minority day, because, Mr. Speaker, the best way to enrich democracy is to have the views of the other side, the opposite side of the aisle. I recall, in fact, Mr. Speaker, I had traveled with one of you to the L'Assemblée Nationale, the French National Assembly, and another assembly in Sri Lanka and India with the Honorable Osei Mensah. And I even carried a book to this Parliamentary Review Committee. There was a book written by one of the authorities on rules and procedure. And I drew Parliament's attention that declare a minority day, a day the minority can move a motion. And Mr. Speaker, you recall, I came here with you after we left school. You remember the same year. You remember my popular Edumdumadum Bejai. It was a motion. Bejai, you were here with the Honorable Kandapa and co, with the Hackman and co. So Backbenchers Day, Mr. Speaker, we need to have a dedicated time for the political opposition. Constructive alternatives, not just commentary. Not just commentary. And Mr. Speaker, I've said it repeatedly. The day the Parliament of Ghana will sit right, the Ghanaian people will smile. Because a lot of the wrongs in this country is because Parliament sits and allows it. Why are we having problem with debt? Forgive me, Mr. Speaker. I heard President Nana Addo Dankwa in Brussels lamenting about excessive borrowing and what debt exchange has done to him. The darkest hour. How did the dark hour happen? Because the Parliament of Ghana failed to limit him and to remind him that yes, you have the powers, but don't borrow excessively. You may disagree. I know you are his special aide. I know that. I know you are his special aide. But Mr. Speaker, I wholeheartedly support that we give backbenchers an opportunity. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, my comment, which you personally have been concerned. When they bring reports to this chamber, how many backbenchers or even frontbenchers want to read the report? Please, when they bring reports, do we go through the report in order to understand what is in the report? So backbenchers must be.
9.3 million was your budget, but you spent 12.2. Staff fuel. Hey, did they drive around the world? Budget was 2.8, and you spent 3.6 million. Communication expenses, ECG. Your budget was 4.2, but you spent 7.9 million. Consultancy, budget was 40 million, but you spent 58.6 million. All these you did it on your own without even board approval.
Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money. Have you ever seen a governor who said, ladies and gentlemen, when I was elected, I thought the government had money. Now I discover government has no money, I resign. Have you ever seen it? Government has no money, but they are bringing money out at election time. Where is that money coming from? So they are lying. What is happening is that there are two types of wicked people in government. Type 1, they eat current money. Any money they find in government, they will eat it. They are wicked about that one. There is type 2. Type 2, they eat current money and future money. They will say, my term will end next year. When I leave, how will I eat money? Let me borrow money now and borrow money of the future and eat it now. Government is broke, government is broke. The people are spending billions to go inside the government that is broke. Have you ever seen a minister who resigned because government is broke before? Government has no money.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro, and it's always a pleasure to come your way. It's, as always, it's a beautiful Thursday morning. Today is the 30th of October 2025, and indeed, this is the day the Lord has made. Indeed, we're glad in it. And we also want to say a big thanks to the Almighty God for giving us that rare privilege of returning here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues that are making their rounds in our dear country, Ghana. I'll go straight ahead and look at the newspapers in terms of what is being reported. And I'm talking about the front pages. So I'll start with the Daily Graphic. The Daily Graphic this morning reports that refuse collectors threatening shut down, demand payments by November 7. As government aims at stable currency, President, new payment system or new payment regime to clear road sector debt within 90 days, Minister. PAC commends MIF CEO for competence reforms. The Ghanaian Times, manage debt or risk economic setback, ISE. VIB calls for discipline to sustain gains, 14th Ghana Economic Forum. New electronic medical record system in the offing, Health Minister. Settle outstanding arrears, ESPA urges government. PAC commends MIF CEO for honesty institutional reforms. The Daily Guide. RNAQ Holdings launches 300 million city scale-up fund. Lightwave clears air over digital health system shutdown. Ex-Buffer Stock CEO wife charged over 78 million cedis theft. Speaker goes mad over MP's absenteeism. SC dismisses Edubwahine claims against judge. The Insight. Race for 2026. MPP flag bearership. Ghost endorses Baumia. Waste contractors warn of looming sanitation crisis. Demand payment of arrears from government. Lightwave sets record straight on false claims about health data system. Ghanaian children must not only consume technology but create it. Harun Idrisu. Ada Songo Lagoon saga. Salt priest. Clan leaders accuse traditional council of betrayal. Demand government intervention. Trump's war on the Caribbean met with resistance from U.S. Congress. The New Republic. Legal blow for Edubwahine. The Supreme Court dismisses bias claims against judge in fraud trial. NSA scandal. More shocker revealed. Former ED deceitfully takes 559 cedis alawa and embezzles 31 million cedis. Amid audit and data security concerns, government ends scandalous $100 million LIMS vendor contract. Investigative report uncovers owner profile contract discrepancies and systemic failures. Former NAFCO boss, wife, 3 others face 24 charges in 78 million city state scam. Lousy OSP swoops dodgy Dr. Sledge, seizes luxury vehicles, weapons and documents from Dr. Sledge. The Daily Post. Health Minister accuses LIMS contractors blackmail, unveils new digital system. And there's also former Deputy NSA boss, Gifty Owari Mensah, was simultaneously enrolled as National Service person. Ex-Buffer Stock boss and wife faced 24 charges for alleged 78 million cedis theft. Supreme Court throws out Atachia and Edubwahine's motion to remove judge from $7 million cyber defense software case. And then the Business and Financial Times, the economic recovery builds on a discipline, not miracles. And also BOG shifts focus to productive growth as stabilization gains hold. And there's also pay us all arrears now or we shut down. ESPA to government. Economic ownership key to sustaining city stability. Government enforces single biometric platform. Newmont Ahafo North mine officially opens today. So that's it for the newspaper banner headline. To stay with us, this is Good Morning Ghana. Don't go anywhere. Keep watching the show.
Sometimes the unexpected happens and the hero falls down in his own story. But he needs not stay down for long. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance is your trusted health partner. Whether an individual building a business, with Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern. For the best health insurance solutions for corporate institutions, groups and associations, families and individuals, choose Cosmopolitan Health Insurance from our over 700 accredited health service providers nationwide. Call us on 0302 540 668 or 0501 678 547 for all your health insurance solutions. Cosmopolitan Health Insurance, your medical care is our concern.
Chia winning Nara, me ding at the baby dapa, me dear strong cocran ebremo. Now that what you animal with you and the air, Japan, me de bremo. And no any summer spices. Summer spices in here, and we wow no bebreo. Various flavors, Ubenya a yako, Ubenya nemchi, you do good jollof muma and we yet dead. Ubenya you do quam, you do for you, hot nako pibito. Na Emma with Gianni, and yet dead. When you mean ya, young con your cocotin uncle for Eka.
Down with your communication, you all enjoy Uduba, that Samu spices. One in the essence, no time. I'm going to get that yaga. Samu spices in a Sabi, Daddy so say. Samu spices, Moon Samu. Samu spices, Yama chicken.
Samu spices. In Sanaka in Ketwa, measure 10 grams. Your chicken, spaghetti, garlic and ginger, stew, and jollof, and the flavors of Bebre.
Samu spices, yes, Saka.
I'm a brand manager. Of course, I accept only quality and affordable printed souvenirs for my promotional campaigns.
I'm the head of academic affairs of a very important institution in Ghana. Of course, we only deal with quality, reliable printing companies for our institution's printing materials. I'm talking about appointed time printing.
Appointed Time Printings. We take pride in our extensive print scope that transform your ideas into captivating visual masterpieces. We delve into the core objectives and vision of each print project. Precision printing is at the heart of our printing process as we meet your tight deadlines. Our rigorous inspection, color verification, and overall printing excellence are assured. 20 years of printing excellence. It's always a pleasure working with you to create a vibrant, dazzling printing experience that gives you a masterpiece. Appointed Time Printing, your world of quality and affordable printing.
Hello, my friends. My name is Calkit Toothpaste. Wow. I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Calkits, happy smile.
In life, choice is good, but choice plus safety is way better. Your safety and comfort is paramount. Under the cylinder recirculation model, you can buy LPG in a safe environment. All cylinders are inspected and maintained to the best safety standards, so your safety is assured. Just take your empty cylinder to the nearest exchange point and swap it for a filled cylinder. Different cylinder sizes will be available to meet your pocket size. Imagine cooking in a smoke-free environment. This will improve the health and well-being of you and your family. Choose LPG in a safer model of distribution. Cylinder recirculation model. Securing your safety. Creating more jobs. A message from the National Petroleum Authority under the patronage of the Ministry of Energy.
Oh, Jose, and I made the SMS. Cannon Pano, Nasana, Mushiana, what me. A drain I didn't quano, Kingdom Garlic Bitters. No, more benefit. Me benefit wine. Also, what told dear? Abrewa, the smile, our brand, Mishuve. One antique crown our bread. No Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and any capsules. Nanya, what ya brebia.
Kingdom Garlic Bitters, and the capsules. Asembia nhu edeben we hu ama wani agise senior na my wife complain one personal Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules enti sesia mpaso aye de
Kingdom Ginseng Power Capsules emani tie ni asumdie befi abrebia oba bia o de pua hawo no edro ba kupa wo hia ne tremendous capsules Tremendous capsules. Esiesie wo ma wo ye obesima. Enuro yi wo benya bi wo baabi ayeton nuro bia. Kingdom Herbal, no challenger.
$9.3 million was your budget, but you spent 12.2. Staff fuel. Hey, did they drive around the world? Budget was 2.8, and you spent 3.6 million. Communication expenses, ECG. Their budget was 4.2, but you spent 7.9 million. Consultancy, budget was 40 million, but you spent 58.6 million. All these you did it on your own without even board approval. Industrial relations, your budget was 2 million, but you spent 13 million. Stakeholders' expenses, your budget was 3.1 million, and you spent 49 million. And you want to increase our tariffs. Publicity, your budget was 5.7, and you spent 21.8 million. Professional fees and subscription, you were supposed to spend 731,000 cedis, and you spent 1.5 million. Overseas travel expenses, you were supposed to spend 14 million, and you spent 29.8 million. Call center expenses, you were supposed to spend 23.5 million, you spent 29.3 million. So budget approval was for 144 million, you spent 333 million. That's excess of 189.2 million. This shows financial indiscipline. And the recommendation over here is that sanctions under Section 96 of the Public Financial Management Act 216, Act 921, should be applied to the officers involved. We also urge management to efficiently monitor and control the company's expenses. CEO, those managers who were involved, I'm recommending that they need to face the Attorney General for prosecution. It's just simple and short.
All right. You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Sorry, we caught some portions of our off-air conversations with my guests. Yes, we do that from time to time, you know, but nothing serious, nothing to be worried about. My guests are seated this morning, and Hamza Suhini is a lawyer and also a member of the NDC's communications team. He hasn't been here in a while. He tells me that he's been out of town to attend to some very urgent, urgent matters, but he's back in town. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hamza, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good morning to our cherished viewers out there. And of course, my brother Richard and your production team as well.
Right.
I've always said that there's a tendency for us to not to pay attention to that part of your entire network, but they do a great job in terms of actually fulfilling the desire of every democratic dispensation to be able to bring access to information to the doorstep of the people of the country. So clearly, they are part of the chain, and these days I'm making a point to advocate for them, especially the technicians and your cameramen.
Right.
Because it is because of the service that they render that many of our compatriots are able to monitor political developments either back home or on social media platforms.
Yeah.
So it is something we must commend. It is not just those of us who sit, mirror, and communicate government policies or criticize government actions.
Right.
It has to do with the contributions they also make as far as the production is concerned. And it is important that we begin celebrating them and let them appreciate that despite the difficult financial circumstances many of them find themselves, it is still service to the Republic of Ghana, and we appreciate them a great deal. So on this note, I would say thank you to them once more, and to encourage them to keep going. Hopefully with time, their hard work and dedication will truly pay. In any case, it is already paying because they are contributing significantly to the development of our country through the provision of reliable information to the good people of this country so that they can track the progress of their governments and opposition parties as well. So it's something that we need to encourage them to continue to do more.
Okay. Hamza, thank you very much. And as I always say, it's always a pleasure to have you join us on the show. And Richard Ahiagba is also here. Richard Ahiagba is the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. Richard, it's always good to see you.
Pleasure.
How's the family? How's everybody?
Everybody's good. Good to see Hamza. He's come with a new vim, and I join his advocacy for the quiet heroes, if you want to say, behind the great work that you guys do on this platform. And maybe to your good self, I think that and team, you've done a pretty good job taking over. I was watching the program on Tuesday from the conference center.
Okay.
It was good. Part of your sign-on, I think you echoed Randy at some point. And I was like, this thing is aligning properly. And talked about the rare privilege of being here. I think that echoed to me, and I was like, well, you guys have owned the program. So I think that commendation to you, the entire team, for having taking this to the level you are taking it to. So good job. And a very good morning to our listeners, to the New Patriotic Party, home and abroad, all our communicators, constituency, region, and national, everyone. I say a very good morning to His Excellency, the former Vice President, and all the aspirants in our internal primaries. Of course, to the President. I have a few things to say about the President's work. One is commendation, and the rest of it is not so good.
Richard Ahiagba. You know, the thing about Richard, he never disappoints. He never disappoints.
Yeah. But I'm going to take it.
He's going to go all out.
It's great commendation for what good work you guys have done.
Yeah. Okay. You know, not many people know that you are also a big-time farmer. You know that?
Yes.
Do they have exposed you? We'll discuss agric and farming off air. He doesn't talk about it. You know, but what do you grow, Richard?
So the long-term goal is to actually focus on coconut plantation. Okay. And so we have that, and it's growing. But the primary crop is cassava. We do maize, but mostly just to feed on the farm, and then for some poultry situation we have. We're going into vegetables now because we've got our water situation dealt with. So, but mostly it's cassava and coconut is what we're trying to do.
I see. How big is that business, the cassava business?
The potential is big, but then the market is a problem. But those who are doing it on a massive scale, I know a good number of people, they have direct export market. We're yet to get to that point. But you know, for the medium-sized farmers who are expanding, market is a problem. Most of them will process into gari, but then the main thing is export. But that market is a bit depressed. Like as we speak now, there's a glut of this gari process because everybody processes during this window when it rains. Because it's difficult to uproot the cassava in the dry season. So it makes it difficult for farmers to make profit because everybody is harvesting at this time. So there's a need for market. You know, the cassava is one of the 22 crops that the government's Feed Ghana program has. And then one of the challenges I have there is how they are helping farmers to be able to sell off their crops when they harvest. You know, part of the objective of the Feed Ghana is to promote food security. And so if you're promoting food security and what you're going to have is seasonal harvest and waste of that, then in the lean season, where you need those crops, you're not going to have them. So the cycle of abundance and low prices for farmers, and then in the lean season, the country needs food and we can't find it, and food inflation associated with that will keep going on. So it's something that I think that the ministry must work hard to try and address. And I remember listening to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama launching the Feed Ghana program. And he was ecstatic about it. The objectives, they've expanded, what we were doing earlier with the Planting for Food and Job Phase 2. They have expanded that. New components have been added, but I think that the implementation is a challenge. Checking from the region and the districts, it is as if currently nothing has been disbursed for that program. Such is one of the flagship programs of the government. Nothing has been disbursed for it, unless something is disbursed, but then it's not at the regional level, district level, who are coordinating the program, directly interfacing the district, interfacing with farmers. There's no disbursement for that, So I think that if that is such a key plank of the government's agenda, which has elements of trying to create jobs, helping to reduce food inflation, food security, among other things, then we need to prioritize that. Look, Moro, Agric has the potential to change our story. Yeah, it has the potential. Farmers along my level, and then farmers, who are peasant farmers, they are producing, but then they are not finding market. A component of this program, I think, is to link farmers to market also, but that is not happening. You understand? So I think that while I commend the government for the renewed effort and continuing the commitment of the New Patriotic Party's Planting for Food and Job Phase 2, and they've increased the scope of produce and are pushing this, there need to be sustained disbursement, a disbursement that makes this policy attain its objective. That would do a lot of good in the real sector of the economy, and a lot of people will get jobs, and food will become cheaper, and will be able to sustain the level of inflation, especially to do with food. And that will be to our advantage. Even if your salary is at the end of the year, or sorry, at the end of the month, 2,000 or 3,000 or whatever that is, at least food will not consume the chunk of it, because we produce them here. And people can afford to eat quality food at a lower price. I don't know if you paid attention already. I think this year's what's the name, the thing we do in December, the Farmers Day. The Farmers Day thing. Right. The theme this year, I think it says Eat Ghana and something, and to secure the future, right? This is an apt, theme. How are you to eat Ghana when just you can find it in one window, and then the next window there's shortage, because we cannot store, we cannot process, we cannot sustain the supply chain to be able to make sure that we have abundance, or we have sustained food supply throughout the year. I think I heard the minister in September also talks about arrangement for buffer stock to buy from farmers. That has not materialized. Long before this matter became an issue, I think the minority has called the minister to make a statement to the effect of how they are going to deal with the food glut, and how farmers and farm gate market prices are depressed. and farmers are losing big time. But then we have a policy that is supposed to help, take off these excesses from the hands of farmers who have put in their bid, who have responded to government policy and are growing in large quantities. But then at that end where, the takeoff has to happen, it's not. And farmers are losing big time, In my farming area in the Central Tong district, there's a challenge. Rice farmers there, they can't find market for their produce. And I have friends up north who are cropping rice, and they have harvest, they can't find market for it. And so we continue to spend in excess of, I think, $3 billion to import rice, but then we are producing rice in abundance, and nobody wants to buy it. And so we need political will. The president is the Hamza and the communicators of the NDC are giving him accolades that he's bold, he's taking on bold decisions, which I don't think necessary, because if one of them is to remove the Chief Justice, then I don't think that's bold. But I think that the president needs to take a bold decision to face this issue of perennial import of rice. Where we have gotten to now, we are producing rice in significant quantities. We need to create a domestic market to take those production, help us reduce our imports, so that it will help in that way to strengthen the city. Okay, one of my recommendations before you come in for the president is a continuous building of our reserves. The New Patriotic Party started, I think we left off somewhere around $9 billion in reserves. They are building. I think my current search is about in excess of 12 billion. That's good for us. It's good for the city. You understand? But we can do more, even simply just by dealing with this excess importation, okay, of rice. 3 billion, cut down to 1 billion. And more, I tell you that you will do our city a great deal of favor. So for me, it is something that we need to do. Agric is the future. We need to move past the lip service and have our policies work. Okay. That will be the transformation we've been waiting for.
Speaking of which, Hamza, someone has just sent me a story and has drawn my attention to a threat which has been issued by some coalition of some leading agricultural groups, and it's about the upcoming Farmers Day. Farmers Day,
yeah. They're likely to boycott.
Yes, I missed it, so someone just sent me this story. And it says that a broad coalition of Ghana's leading agricultural groups have announced a nationwide boycott of the 2025 Farmers Day celebration, citing severe challenges facing the country's food production sector and what they describe as persistent government inaction. The move, which the farmer leaders say is a united stand for survival, involves rice producers and millers, maize farmers, mechanization, service providers, input dealers, Apex Farmers Association, and other agribusiness stakeholders across the country. It marks the first time in the history of Farmers Day that such a large-scale boycott has been declared. According to a joint statement, the decision stems from deep frustration among farmers, particularly those producing rice, maize, and soya, who say they are struggling to sell their produce despite repeated assurances from the government. The Ministry of Food and Agriculture, in a public statement on 23rd September 2025, pledged that all locally produced rice and maize would be purchased through the National Food Buffer Stock Company Limited. However, farmers say no such purchase has taken place, leaving vast quantities of grain unsold and many producers on the brink of bankruptcy. Meanwhile, markets nationwide are said to be flooded with cheap, expired and smuggled import rice, allegedly brought in through unapproved routes or routes, depending on where you stand, and repackaged by politically connected cartels. Now, these products, farmers claim, evade taxes and undercut local produce, further worsening their financial situation. Industry data painted a grim picture. As of last week, over 200,000 metric tons of paddy rice from the 2024 harvest remain unsold in warehouses across the Upper East, Northern and Northeast regions. Now, projections by the National Rice Development Program indicates that Ghana's 2025 rice harvest will reach 1.5 million metric tons, up from 1.3 million in 2024, yet storage facilities are already overflowing with unsold grain. Regional figures show 300,000 metric tons harvested in the Upper East, 400,000 in Northeast, 300,000 in Northern, 50,000 in Savannah, 20,000 in Upper East, and 100,000 in Volta. Most of this produce, farmers say, is locked away with no buyers in sight. The coalition has outlined a series of urgent measures he wants government to implement, and he gives a tall list, but I don't want to bore you with that. But the Farmer Association stressed that the boycott is not an attack on the tradition of Farmers' Day itself, but rather a symbolic act of protest against the policies that have left many producers struggling to survive. This is not about rejecting recognition. The statement said is about demanding respect through fair policies. We cannot celebrate while our livelihoods collapse. The boycott is being supported by a wide network of agricultural bodies, including the Association of Rice Producers and Millers, Chamber of Agribusiness, Association of Soya Value Chains Actors, Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, and that's PFAG, Ghana National Association of Farmers and Fishermen, GNAFF, General Agriculture Workers Union, GAU, CropLife Ghana, Ghana Rice Interprofessional Body, National Seed Trade Association of Ghana, Millers and Processors Association, Traders and Marketwomen Association, and Association of Parboiled Rice Millers. So that's what we're being told. Hamza, I don't know what your take on this would be.
Boro, I think that first of all, that is the beauty of.
And sorry, Guy G sent a message on the theme because we're not too sure what exactly. He said the theme for Ghana's 2025 National Farmers Day is Feed Ghana, Eat Ghana, Secure the Future. Yeah. Guy G, thanks for that. Yeah, thumbs up. Please go ahead.
Boro, I think that basically it goes down to the very concerns that we have raised around this table, even in terms of how we have dealt with the issue of agriculture as a country. And for me, the only thing I will say to the Farmers Association is at least to engage further with this government, because seated where I am convinced that this is a government that is committed to ensuring that we deliver the best in terms of our agriculture sector, because we appreciate from day one that the agriculture sector is one untapped potential when it comes to economic transformation of our country. And it didn't start with the second term of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. Indeed, it started even when he was first elected as president in 2012. He signaled through his first State of the Nation's address his desire to invest heavily in the agriculture sector. That was what led into an extensive study into many of our district assemblies and local economies that eventually drove the government to come out with a policy document on what was termed as MAPLE, if you remember, modernizing agriculture in production in some selected districts and communities. And I think, if I remember clearly, we succeeded in signing an MOU with the Canadian government, and we're supposed to receive in excess of $120 million. Unfortunately, and this was built to be done in 2015, but unfortunately there was a change of government in Canada that stalled the whole process. By early 2017, when the new Patriotic Party came into office, they were fortunate that at the time they were coming into office, government was almost done with the last phase of getting the Canadian government to disburse. But they benefited from that disbursement and decided to change the program name from MAPLE to Planting for Food and Agriculture that my brother just made references to, and sought to create the impression as though the NDC government is now continuing a legacy project of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That is not supported by the facts. Indeed, they were tasked with the responsibility of continuing what His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama started as part of his holistic vision for agricultural transformation then and now. Unfortunately, my information is that even the handling of the Planting for Food and Jobs is also another major plank of the oral report. And moreover, we are yet to get there, but you would be shocked at the level of corruption that characterized that novel intervention by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama intended to alleviate the problems of the average Ghanaian farmer. These guys in the last 8 years decided to take advantage of that novel policy to line their pockets in ways that are clearly condemnable. You see, not long ago, we woke up to the gory stories about what happened at Ghana Buffer Stock Company Limited. This all dovetails into how the agriculture sector was managed in the last 8 years. And so my brother must know that if he's having any challenges today in terms of his agricultural drive, it is largely driven by the uninterested and corruption-driven agenda of the government that he fearlessly defended in the last 8 years. So, Moro, these are the facts on the ground. But you see, I can assure the farmers that today His Excellency President Mahama is back. And if you go back to our NDC's 2024 campaign, there was in a manifesto, Moro, His Excellency the President indicated again in that document his desire to make the agriculture sector the engine of growth. Indeed, again, his first State of the Nation address, he signaled an intention to launch what we call the agriculture, the accelerated development in terms of export development for agricultural produce. It is part of the 24-hour economic secretariat's mandate that they are handling today. But in truth, one can begin to appreciate the challenges so far associated with the whole drive, especially in first year of implementation. You know the kind of economy that we inherited. And so many of these interventions will begin to show signs of real progress by next year. But this year has been extremely difficult for the government. Extremely difficult. Because we are dealt with the responsibility of getting our economic fundamentals right, curbing expenditure, and if I say expenditure, curbing reckless expenditure, and also trying everything within our power to ensure that we clean up the sector or the economy for eventual take-off, hopefully next year. So I can understand the frustrations of the average Ghanaian farmer, but many of these policies that were promised in the 2024 manifesto, they would begin to see them in full operation, hopefully by next year. Remember that we also announced the agriculture mechanization centers, which is absolutely, which is intended to make equipment available to the average farmer, so that they can have access to all the things they need to be able to carry out their farming. It is an important plank of this government's agricultural drive. When it comes to market, once again, it boils down to finances. Because today, if the buffer stock company has been managed in such a way that it is technically on its knees financially, where are they going to get money to buy the produce that farmers have for sale? These are the challenges. And that is the reason why this cleaning up is very crucial. It is not just for political gain. It is simply intended to make sure that many of these challenges are confronted head on, especially by next year. So my appeal to the farmers is that, look, we appreciate their concerns. It is not new. Indeed, in opposition, we had meaningful discussions with them. Certain agreements were reached with them. This is not a government that will shy away from that responsibility. But we will be able to do everything that we promise we'll do, hopefully by next year, especially when it comes to the agricultural sector. But until then, the buffer stock company that ultimately would have been given the responsibility of buying this produce is not even financially sound to go out there and buy. And these are some of the bottlenecks that we need to discuss and find solutions to as a country. And this government is doing that already. Moro, you see, the problem, when we first won, I made a point that, look, one of the fundamental challenges that the NDC government was bound to face was the effects of the bad governance of the last regime. Because Ghanaians have been under that bad governance for 8 years. A new government has come into office, so they need a quick change. And it is legitimate for Ghanaians to demand that quick change. But the responsibility is on us as a government to let the people understand that it is going to be difficult for us to confront all the mess that they created in the last 8 years in a matter of 9 or 10 months in government. It is clearly not possible. And these are the realities that we have to face as a people. We would not behave like the New Patriotic Party and begin to give assurances that indeed whatever we said we'll do in the next 4 years, we'll do it in our first year. No. Where there are challenges, we'll be candid to the Ghanaian people. And like I enumerated, for now we are having to deal with an economic mess that requires sacrifices. Some sectors will suffer. especially sectors that over the years we have not succeeded as a country to effectively connect to our economic growth potentials. And that is what we are seeking to do with the agriculture sector now. So that sector undoubtedly would have challenges now. But more, I can assure the good people of this country, especially our farmers, that this government will further engage and do what is necessary to ensure that many of these challenges are nipped in the bud by next year. But even that said, when it comes to the produce available, I think that the minister responsible for agriculture must begin an engagement with the Minister of Education. Let us see how we can take advantage of these stocks that you have just given an overview that are still locked up in warehouses to see how we can take advantage of the government school feeding program. Right. Get these items from them, let them supply them to the various senior high schools and school feeding caterers, at least to lessen the burden of the average Ghanaian farmer. These are things we can do. Even if there's an arrangement that we can do to have these items on credit, let us engage in that meaningful engagement to protect not only our farmers, but most importantly, to protect these produce and to also signal to the Ghanaian farmers that, look, they should be ready to invest their all in production because we will provide that ready market. And that solution ought to be driven by the minister responsible for agriculture. And it is my hope and prayer, knowing him, he's played in that sector for decades now, and he's clearly familiar with the agricultural sector. And I'm sure that he's not going to take many of these concerns lightly. He will do what is necessary to ensure that we find solutions to the concerns that are being raised by the average Ghanaian farmer. But I don't think that it is in their own interest to even attempt or contemplate a boycott of the Farmers' Day event. I can understand the message they want to send across, but it is quite clear that that message has been sent already. And so there's no need for them to go that level. They should rather take advantage of that platform on the D-Day to further communicate their frustrations, their challenges. They should take advantage of that national platform that would be created for them on Farmers' Day and seek to communicate these challenges to the authorities. And be rest assured that this government will listen.
You know, the minority held a press on this matter last week, Friday. And right after the presser, the majority leader, Mahama Yariga, who is also the MP for Boko Central, responded to the concerns that were raised by the minority. And there's a quote here which is attributed to him where he says that Cabinet has approved the release of funds to the National Food Buffer Stock Company to purchase the excess produce and stabilize the market. And it's still with Mahama Yariga. He says, you have admitted that the agriculture sector is doing well, very well, and that is going to positively impact food inflation in the coming months. What is of concern now is how we get the produce from the farmers. I can assure you that I was in cabinet when the president directed the Minister of Finance to make money available to buffer stock so that they can buy the produce from the farmers. And then Ayarga asked that some of the warehouses constructed during the Akufo-Addo administration would be instrumental in storing the current bumper harvest. However, he knows with concern that unfortunately none of the factories is functioning, stressing the need for operational facilities to complement the storage infrastructure. So maybe what we need to find out is where are we in the scheme of things?
Absolutely, but you see, so there's also the possibility that indeed that these figures could be exaggerated in terms of what they claim to have in their warehouses. Right. It is very possible. But Moro, the fundamental issue is that for a government such as ours, we do not take things for granted. To the extent that the farmer associations have issued a statement, we proceed on the assumption that they have engaged their colleagues, and based on which they have decided to release this statement. And so we are not going to treat it with kid gloves. Okay. These are concerns that requires even the minister responsible for agriculture to go to the grounds. Okay. He should direct his directors, let them go onto the grounds and assess the situation. Okay. And through that, they can present a report to Parliament, to the presidency, and an action can be taken. But in terms of resources made available to National Buffer Stock Company, that is clearly so. But like I indicated, this year is one of austerity. Right. Allocations are made. It is expected that many of them may not meet the required threshold because of the peculiar financial challenges we find ourselves. I have always argued that there's so much investments that we need to do as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. So I do not think that the last year's budget or this year's budget would be able to meet that requirement in terms of the capital investments that we need to invest in the agriculture sector.
Right.
And that is the reason why it is important for us to continue to call on government to do the needful by injecting more resources in the agriculture sector. It's an arena we can all take advantage of. I have tried it a number of times and I have not been successful in the agriculture sector. Indeed, there are so many policies that government can roll out. Because I remember when I tried it, because I was not personally on the grounds to monitor, it became practically impossible for me to reap the needed benefits associated with the sector. So at a point I had to pull out.
Okay.
So even in terms of, it's not just about money, but sometimes even there's the need for some training to be done.
Your trainer is here.
No, but government, this is an individual, but government should be willing to lead that training in terms of how to manage farm management principles, how it should be done. These are training facilities that we can begin to incorporate when it comes to the whole project of agriculture expansion. And for me, that was one challenge that made it impossible for me to continue. Because I realized that I simply did not have the requisite knowledge to man this venture that I had gone into. And it should be possible for me to be able to man my farm somewhere in the northern region, even seated here in Accra.
Yeah, it's possible.
But that architecture is not there. And apart from the fact that the architecture is not available, I do not even have the rudiments of farm management. And these are some of the things we must begin to look at. And I call on the agriculture minister to take that aspect very seriously and see how we can all work together. But as for the minority, Moro, you see, I've always made the point that if you want to focus on what the NPP says, you are likely to be driven by anger because you'll be reminded of the wasteful 8 years that we gave to them, for which they failed to do nothing, especially in the agricultural sector. And just less than 9 or 10 months in opposition, they suddenly have arrogated to themselves the responsibility of championing agricultural growth when they had all the resources, time in government to be able to actually signal an interest in that sector. They failed. And so that's why I'm telling you that if you are not careful and you want to situate the discussion in what the NPP says, there's the tendency for you to be driven by emotions and miss the bigger picture of legitimate concerns being raised by the Ghanaian farmer. And this government will not be distracted by the noise or needless noise of the New Patriotic Party. We will do what is required of us. We will continue to engage our farmers. We will listen to their legitimate concerns and work assiduously day and night to ensure that we find a lasting solution to the problem of agriculture. Because it is in the interest of this government, it is in the interest of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama to have a working agriculture sector, because that is the brainchild of his second term. Indeed, that is the bedrock of the legacy he aspires to leave. And it is not for nothing that he personally is championing that Accelerated Export Development Corporation to lead exports coming from the agricultural sector. So we will not take it lightly. They should know that they have a president who is clearly interested in agriculture, who himself is a farmer, and clearly has them at heart. What we need now is to give him the necessary support, time, and space to be able to clear the economic mess and strategically position the agriculture sector so that all of us can take advantage of going forward.
All right, so we'll take a little breather.
Oh, Moro,
just a little breather.
Just a quick one.
Just a little breather. I don't want to cut short.
Okay.
I don't want you to land.
That's okay.
I want you to land well. So you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. Please stay with us.
Start your Kids Day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Ebusiafo ye mama kwaba eba Children's Palace. Nkwala nyema nyina fie enyi. Yonkwala ntade mani mema nyina ntare nyina wase. Yonkwala shoes, yonkwala duane, yonkwala wipes, yonkwala diapers, yonkwala toys, baby cot. In fact, bibia opama umanyina obenye biwa ase.
Located at East Legon Hills, Nana Chrome KFC. Contact us on 059-6377-172. Children's Palace. Happy children, happy fashion. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson.
Me didn't tum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain was key to double the action. Me did Sasso spray. Mr. Friendly Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Tum preko.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, and who be here? Samacha Sapapadia to a mammy mouthful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, and maniswing, Nesasu Mama Hoto so a will beg you.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80-gram and 150-gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
West Africa's soil yields global treasures. Cocoa, cashew, shea, and cotton. They power industries across the world. Yet for our region, the greatest value still slips away, exported raw, taking with it jobs, industries, and the promise of shared prosperity. The real question is no longer what we produce, but who captures the final reward. True prosperity lies in the value we add right here at home. That's why the 4th edition of the EBIT President's Roundtable will gather the architects of Africa's prosperity and Africa's transformation to answer one defining question. How do we finance the journey from the farm to the port? Join Dr. George Ejikum Donko and some leading experts as EBIT leads a high-level dialogue to unlock financing, empower local industries, and turn West Africa's raw potential into industrial power. Be part of the conversation redefining our economic future, live on Metro TV, DSTV Channel 277, and EBIT platforms on November 24, 2025 at 11 a.m. EBIT President's Roundtable 2025, from the farm to the port, financing the value chains of West Africa's cash crops. My name is Anita Erskine, and it would be an honor to host you.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
I'm the second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be later?
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From Natepia cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Senya God the apple boom. If you put it toye, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey!
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did
You know it was with the road fund. You're live. Good morning, Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Aldo Moro. Now, need I remind you that the show is also live on 94.1 FM. That's on your radio dial, so please tune in case you can't watch us on TV. Tune in to 94.1 FM and watch us, and listen to the show wherever you are. So I'm here with Hamza Suhini, who is a private legal practitioner and also a member of the NDC's communications team. So Hamza Suhini Esquire. And also Richard Ahiagba, who is the Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. You know, Richard, we used to always call you Richard Ahiagba. So it took my MD one day who called me it's Ahiagba.
Yes, Ahiagba.
Yeah, and I said, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I said, Ahiagba. You know, a lot of our media folks are actually making that mistake of calling Ahiagba.
It's okay.
What does it mean?
It's a burden of love. I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But you know,
burden of love.
The burden of love you carry. Yeah. But you see, I've heard various renditions
and
of
shows
it.
With your association of the New Patriotic.
Oh.
Oh, but they have been grossly unfair to his likes in the last 8 years, despite the love that he has shown, the love and affection he has shown the party. But that's the truth. That's the truth. Names actually have
it's on steroids.
It's a very difficult situation.
It's on steroids. but on your
phone, you see what they show. No, you finish it right now. What do you want about to say? Anyway, we shall listen.
You know, I've heard various renditions of it, having been outside, and in any way anybody calls me, I respond.
Okay.
So I don't get into the whole thing of
correcting people
because I've heard very complete.
What's the worst? What's the worst you ever heard?
Oh, outside this country, I've heard Anyama. And many different versions.
It doesn't bother you, does
it? No.
It doesn't bother you.
I know it's tough to pronounce if you're not in the, you're a native speaker.
Right.
It's difficult. So I don't get into that.
Okay.
But so Moro, I think that largely I don't disagree too much with Hamza. He's shown some very critical communication when he's calling on the minister to, get into the weeds and get stuff done. And then he's talked also a little bit about the president's commitment, which I think that is not in question. But wishes are not horses. The idea is that, yes, you wish for ABCD to happen, you must see to it that it happens. And that's where the rubber hits the road. And that's where the challenge is right now. The Feed Ghana, the first person to say it's a good idea, building on the PFJ Phase 2, even though Hamza says that it is their creation. But I don't think that they created Planting for Food and Jobs. So we put in Planting for Food and Jobs, which has actually helped the agri sector grow. Moro, in 2017, when we took over from the NDC, I think the agri sector grew just about 2.7. At the close of 2017, as the 2018 reports, it's about 8.4% agri sector grew by, and under us, agri sector continued to grow. Nothing compared to what they reported. I think in 2014 or so, the agri sector dropped all the way to 0.9%. So we've done better with agri. The Akufo-Addo MPP government has done much, much better with agri. If today you are comparing the former president's first term with our period in government, we have done exceedingly better with agri. So that record must reflect. Now, the challenge with the implementation of the program, and I again commend Hamza on making a call on the government and the honest admission that this year is a year of austerity, which it shouldn't have to be. We should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. The mandate of the president does not have any grace period within which you don't do anything, right? You come in, your mandate starts from the 7th and it runs through till the 7th of the 7th of January after election. So in this case, 7th January 2029. So my thinking is that the president ought to hit the road running from the 7th of January. So this whole excuse that, okay, well, this year we're trying to deal with some economic mess, which is make-believe economic mess, okay? The idea is, it is clear without a doubt that before we left office, this economy was recovering. The economy started recovering strongly from 2023. The IMF has attested to that. The World Bank has attested to that. There's ample documentation to that effect. So the economy was on a path of recovery. So they inherited a recovering economy. In fact, strong in 2024, growth of 5.7%. Okay? Even though they are projected to grow 4%, which is a difficulty that I see from inheriting such a high growth level. But they didn't inherit an economy in shambles. No, at all. Yes, when a difficult situation in 2022, we hit a certain rough ride, but then we have managed the economy, okay, to where it is recovering. Now, if there is any relief for the Ghanaian, if there is any improvement such that it is reflecting in the lives of Ghanaians, it was just a matter of time that we got to that point. And so they are on a path to advance what they inherited. If they are facing challenges of doing so expeditiously, then they should say it. That the rate at which they ought to grow the economy is not growing that way, and that's the difficulty they are facing. That's a point to be made, but that is not a function of the previous government. It's not because they inherited an economy that is stagnant. No, they inherited a growing economy, which grew by the time they took off at 5.7. That is not a mean economy. That is not an economy in stagnation at all by anybody's measure. Okay, by the worst enemy of the MPP, if you measure that and say our performance is 5.7, it is creditable. That is, we are expecting to see them to grow at that 5.7%, but they have projected 4% or so. So the economy is not in shambles as they purport to make the point, but I agree that we've gone through some rough patches. Those difficulties we have addressed, and I think I agree with the president recently when he mentioned about the DDEP. I have my own concerns about it, and I've said it that, you know, as a party that and our belief system, that's not a policy that ought to be implemented under us. But it was a difficult situation. There was no option. There was nowhere to turn to but to own and deal with the problem. And so I wasn't surprised when the president made that. It was an honest admission at reflecting the kind of difficulty he went through as a president to supervise that implementation of DDEP. So the economy is at a place where the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, could have implemented his flagship program, the Feed Ghana program, to make sure that Ghanaians in the real sector, Moro, one of the drive that brought the NDC to office is the idea of creating jobs. Okay, now it is dead. The idea of 24-hour economy is completely comatose. There's nothing happening on that front. Now it's a big document. You read it, you don't know. By the time you finish the introduction, you forgot what really they're about to do. Quite different from what they told us, very expressly, as though that when they walk into office, the following day there's a switch that they're going to flip on, and there'll be jobs that people can do, 3 people at a time, right? They will have 1-3-3-3 was the formula. Okay, if that's a lotto number, you can play it all you want. You're not going to win anything because it's not materializing in any way, shape, or form, right? So that is their problem. The economy was good. The FGP, which is the Feed Ghana program, that program, if properly implemented, would create jobs, would help us create jobs for our young people. But it hasn't been implemented. Now we're hearing the excuse, which we know that it is because they are practicing some austerity, which is something that is beyond me. When you make a thing your flagship, you know, Akufo-Addo's flagship, the Free SHS, it was implemented the same year. September, we had it on the road. So Feed Ghana program is President Mahama's flagship program, but nothing, not a single disbursement. But before I go, you know, the Farmer Service Center, that idea is novel. I like it. It's a fantastic idea. But nothing whatsoever has been done about it. And it is in that aspect of the Feed Ghana that has the market linkage component, and it has also credit component in that, but nothing whatsoever has been done about that sector. So that's part of the problem, especially to do with the matter that we're discussing in terms of the glut, that is that farmers are looking for market and they can't find. That component is supposed to deal with it. So if we are hearing that Cabinet has approved some money for buffer stock to do it, I think that they need to act speedily and make sure that that is done. But again, just a plea to the president. It will be a feather in his cap if we are able to exercise the political will to engage the import cartel of rice to say that now we have our own capacity and our determination, our goal is to feed Ghana, eat Ghana, and secure the future, then we must have the courage to curtail the import, because now we can produce at home. And what is a point that we must note, and part of the promotion Moro, is that the local rice is more nutritious, is better, is better for your health than the imports, which is polished and treated in many different ways. Okay. So that aspect, I think that I'll be a champion in the president's corner to say that let's curtail the import of rice. Those who are invested in that sector, who are perhaps lobbying and pushing the envelope not to have this happen, they can repurpose their investment and promote the local sector, the local rice sector, so that we can save ourselves the forex and ensure the stability of our city, and then boost domestic production, job creation as a result, and stabilize the city. I think that that's something we need to do for ourselves. But as for the NDC claiming the economy is their problem, I tell you, it is not. They didn't inherit a bad economy at all. They needed to build on it. If they are slow building it, that one is their cup of tea. They can't blame the opposition for that at all.
Okay.
How's
I think that there's one fundamental thing that we need to set out, especially when it comes to the politics of the New Patriotic Party.
Right.
It is the fact that they are averse to principle politics, and politics rooted in sincerity and honesty to the good people of the Republic of Ghana. And that is one fundamental difference between the National Democratic Congress and that of the NPP. For the NPP, what they are experts in is how to simply abuse your arguments, misinterpret your motives, and deride your sincerity. And so they are quick at turning criticisms or legitimate criticisms of Ghanaians into accusations. That is what they have mastery over. But when it comes to governance, they are simply lacking. And I'll demonstrate why. Moro, on this table, I upheld the principle of sincerity in politics and honesty when dealing with the Ghanaian people. Nowhere have I suggested that because of the economic mess that they left behind, this government has been quite unable to release funds to many of these sectors, including the buffer stock company, to buy produce. I have made references to the fact that even in the midst of the economic downturn and mess that we have inherited and our commitment to clean that mess, releases have been made. But as a government that underscores the importance of sincerity and honesty in political discourse, I was quick to add that undoubtedly it still doesn't match up to the needed investments in the agriculture sector. That is a hallmark of honesty. That is how you are being sincere and honest to the Ghanaian people. But not for their politics. My brother was quick to assume or to proceed on the induced assumption that government, because of economic challenges, has not made any advances in these sectors. That is not true. Not long ago, you heard even His Excellency President Mahama, in line with the objectives of the Feed Ghana project, direct senior high schools in Ashanti region to buy even tomatoes from local farmers. Moro, didn't you hear that? It was a presidential directive, not even a directive from the minister responsible for education or agriculture. That is the president who still has a handle on the entire policy rationale behind the Feed Ghana project and is committed to its implementation. Our references to the fact that there is the need for us to clean the mess is not an indication is not an indication that, look, this is a government that is interested in fishing out excuses. Absolutely not. It is rather rooted in sincerity, because we acknowledge that so much investment needs to be done in the agriculture sector. But because of the mess that you left behind, it is making it practically impossible for the agriculture sector to get all the needed investments in a single year. in this year alone. And why are we creating the impression, if not the NPP, that the manifesto that we presented to the good people of this country was a manifesto meant to be implemented in 1 year? Is that my brother's understanding of the social contract political parties sign with the good people of this country using their manifestos? Absolutely unacceptable. Another hallmark of their tradition. Cheap and deceptive politicking. And that is the reason why we need to let the NPP understand that, look, if they are interested in partnership, the NDC is open and the Ghanaian people are open. But if they are simply interested in scoring cheap political goals, this is not the time for them. Because their record is not hidden. And Moro, he made references to the fact that, look, they handed over to us a very thriving economy. Quite clearly, Richard possibly was living under a different planet. Because I was even surprised he had to make reference to their domestic debt exchange program. This is a government that left us in excess of 121 billion Ghana cedis in debt. 721 in debt. This government. We are talking about a government that virtually succeeded in the last 8 years of running down state institutions, including a crucial national institution like the Electricity Company of Ghana, and got us into debt of I think about 68 billion Ghana cedis that we are still dealing with. Not to talk of the debt they left behind at Road Fund and Cocoa Board. That is your legacy. This is not lost on any Ghanaian. What you were masters in were clearly how to extort monies using these state institutions and questionable policy interventions under the guise of contributing meaningfully to national development. That is the record that you left behind. And so for us, we would not be swayed by your politics of deception intended to misinterpret our honesty and abuse our arguments, especially when it comes to being truthful to the good people of this country. And that is the reason why I will still not shy away from indicating that, look, the steps that need to be taken, the minister responsible for agriculture and His Excellency President Mahama, I'm convinced, will take those steps. But spare us this early morning sermon, Richard. Okay. Because your record is there of all the beautiful things you spoke about.
Okay.
About what you did with the Planting for Food program. What benefits? Even under you, there are still questions for your agriculture minister, and you people throw jargons at each other in this your current presidential contest. Many of your flag bearer aspirants are now those who have become official spokespersons for the good people of this country in terms of the economic record you left behind. When it comes to the agriculture sector, indeed, those of you supporting Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia have had cause to tell Brian Achampong to shut up because of the mess he left behind as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. Okay. So this is your record. Okay. We have in place a government that has shown commitment, that has indicated its willingness to clear that mess. And my brother also referenced the fact that the majority leader indicated that the presidency had directed the minister responsible for finance to make some allocations to the National Buffer Stock Company to procure many of these items. Others have raised questions as to whether indeed these quantums of grains are actually available in warehouses. Right. These are all legitimate concerns. And so if indeed you are concerned about the agriculture sector, these are facts we need to verify in terms of the quantities that they have available.
All right.
And we would engage in that holistic discussion as to how to take advantage of it. And that is why I called on the agriculture minister to go out there and ascertain the veracity of these claims and present a report to His Excellency the President, and be rest assured, like he directed. Okay. President Mahama will once again direct an important solution to that particular challenge that the farmers are making references to. But until that is done,
let's move on.
Yes, but until that is done, until we move on, let me place this on record that we are advocating for a government that will not take the good people of this country for granted. We will not deceive them that many of the promises we made in opposition, we will implement in a single year.
All right.
We know that we have a 4-year mandate.
Okay.
And our steps will be guided.
All right.
We would ensure that by the end of that 4-year mandate, we would have a story to tell the Ghanaian people. Okay. Indeed, they themselves would be advocates of that legacy. Right. His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC will leave behind. And that is our focus. We will not be distracted by the petty politics of the New Patriotic Party and its associates.
Thank you.
But just
once you come
and then I will come back again. Of course, I would have to come back.
It's nothing. No. I mean, what we are talking about.
Once you talk, you know, brother.
No, yeah, we talk about. The point is very simple. Hamza,
Richard, I'll come back.
Yeah, it's okay. Hamza is a nice guy.
Spend 3 hours on this.
There are many other issues to talk about. But it's important. For what we eat, what we eat is proper that we talk about it.
We can't spend all day. Come on.
You see, Hamza is a nice guy. He's doing his best, and I will support him any day. But the thing is that he's defending a very difficult position.
Okay.
Really. You see, the record of the NDC...
You are going to allow him to...
No.
I will be entitled to my rights.
No problem. He's a lawyer, so he's a
take the whole day.
No, that's okay. But it's worth it. Let me go to the I'm coming. Just a small point. You see, so the point is that on the record of the economy, Moro, I admit that we hit a rough patch in post-COVID 2020.
It is not even accurate. It's not post-COVID. And I'll demonstrate why it is not post-COVID.
No problem. That's fine. You see, before we hit that rough patch, Moro, we're all in this country. Okay. The economy we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was an economy that grew 3.6. He inherited that economy in 2013 about 7.3 or so % GDP. Okay, declined all the way, okay, to 3.6 or 3.4, depending on what series you're looking at. But actually 3.4, if you look at the expanded, then maybe 3.6.
Okay.
Moro, that economy we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama grew on average 7% in 2017, 2018, 2019. Before COVID, 20.5%. Okay, so a consistent growth of 7%. He was able to do 3.6%. Having inherited the economy from 7.3%, okay, the capacity of our economy shrank under him. So when we're talking economic management, and now it's as if everybody in Ghana, we have extinguished the history of Akufo-Addo's performance, and we are looking at something before us, which is actually not even inspiring, because their first-year projection is actually lower than what they inherited. So we took an economy at 3.6, left it for them at 5.7, 6%. Okay? When he took at 7 and left at 3.4, are you comparing that to tell me that they have done a better job? No. So Hamza, the record is clear. When you come to that Greek sector, which we are discussing, under them, that Greek sector was not growing. You see, you look at opportunities for the average Ghanaian in the real sector. Okay, you look at industry, you look at service, you look at agriculture. If agriculture sector is not growing, it means that the average Ghanaian is not finding opportunity. So we are talking about the critical sector to the Ghanaian people. What gives people jobs? And so you have come to launch a flagship program. Which program you are supposed to fund? It's not being funded. I'm telling you, it's not being funded. Whether it's austerity, whether it is some strategy or not, this is what you say is your flagship. It's not being funded. Okay? If you have challenge, say you have challenge. But this thing about polishing this thing and say, oh, whatever, mandate is 4 years. We know it's 4 years, but you do your budget every year. So it means that the 2025 fiscal year, you have done nothing for Agric. You have done nothing. And now we are here, farmers who are supposed to be celebrating Farmers' Day says they don't want to celebrate it because there's nothing to celebrate. This should put chill in the spines of the government. I am not inclined to just criticize this government for the sake of it, because I believe that we are in this thing together. Okay? So whether it works, if it doesn't work, we are all in it together. So their success is my success. And I, under any circumstance, would flag where they are doing well. But the point is that the thing is not happening.
Okay.
It's not happening. So we must say it as it is.
Richard,
and then encourage the government to do more.
Yeah, let's move on.
That's the point.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, but as you advised earlier, if Hamza come in, then it means naturally I'll come in. So this
no, I have the right of reply, of course. I have a, Moro.
So I don't have a right of reply.
I'm only replying to you. You started the discussion. Moro. Moro, this is very, very important.
Well, now let's talk about something different. That would agree.
Unbelievable. You see?
He's not
Moro, this is very important. My brother made the assertion that until COVID, they were having a very good run in terms of their economic fortunes. That is clearly not accurate. Go back to 2019 and read the commentary of Christian Laporte, the World Bank or the IMF country representative then. He indicated in clear language that Ghana's economy had shown serious signs of distress even before COVID, driven by reckless borrowing. Remember, these are the people who had to even organize a Kinky party for simply borrowing. Reckless borrowing and corruption became the bane of our economic mess, even before COVID.
But talk about performance.
This was, please, I'll get there. If you go back to the 2016 budget report, all the targets that were projected for 2017 were met because we knew the kind of investments we had put in that sector. Take cocoa pot, for instance. We made projections of the number of tons of cocoa we were expecting for 2017. It came almost the same way, about 1 million tons. That season didn't start with your 2017. Go back to the amounts we made available in terms of Ghana's sinking fund. There were enormous resources because of the prudent management of the economy, even in the midst of economic downturn, occasioned by poor pricing mechanisms for many of our international export commodities, including gold and cocoa, before His Excellency President Mahama left office. But we managed successfully after the Century Conference and implemented our homegrown policies that led to some notable gains. And so by the end of 2016, the fundamentals were promising. You only inherited the positive effects of the investments the John Dramani Mahama administration had made in the agriculture sector when you came into office in the 2017 financial year, not just even in the agriculture sector alone, the economy as a whole. More, you remember that these were the people in opposition who said that there was absolutely nothing left in the coffers. But in less than 1 year in office, they were able to implement the free senior high school policy. If there was nothing, do you think that they would have had the financial wherewithal and muscle to be able to contain the pressures of that expenditure in the first year? It is because they were emboldened by the kind of resources that we left behind for them. Road sector, road fund alone, we left in excess of 700 to 800 million for payment of contractors. They sat on that money for well over a year and succeeded even in diverting same and entered into questionable transaction with a particular bank of a name that I want to withhold. That purported to be advancing payments to contractors, and at the back of that were intended or were meant to receive interest for taking lead in advancing those payments to contractors, when in actual sense the money was available. So from the word go, we were dealing with a criminal cabal that was motivated simply with the appetite to line their pockets in government, not necessarily to drive economic growth. And that is why by 2019, the effects were palpable.
Okay.
And you did not need an angel to descend from high heavens to tell you that these were a bunch of people who came into government to empower themselves at the expense of the state.
All right.
Today, the story is different.
Okay.
You have a government that is focused. You have a government that is honest. You have a government that accepts where there are rooms for where there is room for improvement, that indeed we need to do better here. And that is the difference. Okay. Because we have learned even useful lessons in opposition.
All right.
And we know that you cannot continue to take the good people of this country for granted. And so my brother Richard can begin to live in his own created economic bubble of success.
Okay.
But those who suffer as a result of the domestic debt exchange program will not forget that legacy.
All right, then.
He can continue to create that bubble of economic progress under them.
All right.
But our international partners who have had to let go of a portion of their debts as a result of the, what's the name?
You mean the DDP?
Yes, as a result of the foreign component of the debt exchange program.
All right.
They will not forget. Remember that we are dealing with a cabal that succeeded in locking us out of the international capital market because of their poor economic record.
All right.
So that is known.
Okay.
When the NDC was in charge, did you ever hear that we are unable to pay our foreign debts? Did you ever hear that we are locked out of the capital markets? Did you ever hear international rating agencies declaring this country as a junk status? This is the record you left behind.
All right.
And so if we are cleaning the mess, you simply do not expect us to clean that mess in a matter of 4, 5, or 9 months.
There was no mess you're cleaning up.
You see, and President Mahama was even being charitable when he declared, upon assumption of office, that he had met an economic crime scene. It is even more worse. These guys were simply in government to pursue their individual agenda of enriching themselves. Moro, are you not surprised about the discoveries we are making from National Service Secretariat to the National Buffer Stock Company and to the Signals Bureau?
Okay. So speaking of
that should tell you the kind of governance we were subjected to in the last 8 years. And so, Richard, I think that you would be doing the good people of this country well if you tone down a bit and give us the opportunity to clear your mess. Please.
For 8 years. You don't get tired?
No, but Moro, the record might be sensitive.
No, it's about Moro. It's about Moro.
No.
Anyway, let's move on.
Moro,
so today's Daily Guide. No, if you do this, we can't have a show.
I'll use my
Daily Guide. No, don't do that. Today's Daily Guide is reporting on its page 3. It's giving us an update on this buffer stock matter. In fact, it's come up several times in your submissions. I mean, both of you. So there's an update on the former Chief Executive Officer of the National Food and Buffer Stock Company Limited, NAFCO, Hanan Abdul Wahab Aludeba, and his wife, Faiza Said Wune, were told that they have been charged by the Attorney General for allegedly stealing and causing financial loss to the state, totaling 78 million cedis. Now, charged along them is Richard Samasanti, who is said to be on the run, as well as the Ludiba Foundation and Energy Partners Limited, 2 companies related to the couple. Now, the accused persons are facing charges of stealing, fraudulently causing financial loss to the state, abetment of stealing, money laundering, defrauding by false pretenses, intentional dissipation of public funds, and using public office for profits dishonestly, receiving and intentionally causing financial loss to the state. According to the charge sheet, Mr. Abdul Wahab allegedly stole 50.897 million cedis from NAFCO by transferring it to James Tieku Apau, operating under the name Sultina Enterprise between February 2017 and February 2025. His wife, Faiza Said Wune, allegedly laundered a total of 34 million cedis, owing and knowing at the time of taking the money that it was acquired through a criminal enterprise. Now, she's also accused of dishonestly receiving 4,401,831 from NAFCO between 2018 and 2023, knowing very well that the money was appropriated through stealing. Now, Richard Samasanti, on the other hand, has been charged for conspiring to steal 5,495,748 cedis from NAFCO between February 2017 and February 2019. Now, court documents indicate that the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, received tip-offs that Abdul Wahab has over 8 years that he was the CEO of NAFCO, embezzled hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis from NAFCO, and used the embezzled monies to acquire vast estate and businesses across the country and elsewhere. The brief facts indicate that YOCO's preliminary investigation revealed that almost 78 million cedis had moved from the bank accounts of NAFCO to Sultina, and that these funds were transferred in a series of 86 transactions between October 2019 and September 2023. It further indicates that the transfers were made from NAFCO into Sultina's bank account with the Republic Bank, Laboni branch, where Abdul Wahab maintained several bank accounts with the same bank relationship officer managing all his accounts. The Attorney General says the relationship officer will testify for the prosecution in the course of the trial. Now, subsequent investigations revealed that somewhere 2018, James Tieku Apau, the then regional manager at NAFCO, approached Abdul Wahab and informed him of a desire to buy and supply foodstuffs to NAFCO, and he agreed. Now, Abdul Wahab allegedly had James Teku Apau's business, Sortina quickly approved as a licensing buyer and licensed buying company. That's what I should be saying, and immediately started trading with NAFCO. Now, under interrogation, Teku Apau allegedly admitted receiving a total of 69 million, over 69 million cedis from NAFCO into Sortina's bank account. Court documents point out. He's ever explaining that only about 20% of the amount was for genuine supplies he made to NAFCO, while IOCO's investigations reveal the remaining 80% of the bank transfers was for no supplies. Unbelievable. All right, so we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. You're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television.
Start your kids' day the right way, filled with confidence to take on any challenge. Pepsodent Kids contains the right amount of fluoride and sugar acid protection to care for their developing gums and teeth. Grab either orange or strawberry so they brush with the sweet flavor they love morning and evening. Pepsodent Kids, giving your children a bright smile for a brighter future.
Menya oden o tianti mu amanfo ada o hye me boso beto phone na mama me phone na say dada menya oden
the most surprised man
surprise ben
surprise
hey Kofi papa phone o iPhone 13 nanya ne
ende me fankofo bi mienu amuko circle ene ba ko ne ka chena dan for hour ono ode ni Ghana card eko EBA phone so a otua 40% pen ede ni phone man no a da aka no betua ne kakra Timothy ya me drop na me so me call ho ana me kwanya wo phone de brɛ
oh Kofi papa me da se am shroud
Wo EBA phones hadie yeton iPhones ne ho akade nyina ye sanso de ma wholesale so ye dealer na so pedodo atua anase afi na wo hye iPhone business na se a braya se ye hwehwe ye chira kwan e wo Accra Circle Mall any Tiptoe Lane modern photos in chain American Monso ye ni Odor Rice ene di nhwenim Kumase yewedum ejekuma brunsan nim obetumi so hu ye e wo www.
Ama nansi mi general well-being enkoye kwao amama ye bohu se kontomra akija
nansi me hu se me nyo basima kra ama me kunu ni me ntukwankwa oyiwa enye monko give us GC mixture and in capsules aye numbom enho asem na mo kana ebua emma ene meme nyina na ma wo ba ye obesima na be ma so aye be masima ya we be bua wuku ama ne giant sa wo de hye ne botum na wanyinya na nim tisese ne oyi chokwa GC mixture and capsule. Achisa.
A painful about one more menu for one kwada we need fear to me.
Achisa. Wabedum time aso. Hey, J. Watch it, na learning. Missy, watch and learn. Mekwaya ma besisia. Abozege. Akache say no ya konate and the more drink woman. Hey. But I didn't mean. Oh, sorry. She knew her old days. Eji, Dabio, baby wom. Ready? Hey, baby wom. Ah, Eji. I'll cause some discomfort. sorry, what uncle, where would the dad? Why your funeral? At your phone for Arrowfield Trading. Sorry, it killed them all.
No mum share nanda danya was mosquito call is to do woman. Na say spray with them musa. Try sima a dronum and sana ko dynamo.
And Kratoi FDA Ajatum.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa, dear. Why wouldn't he be late? Obey him later.
Of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Coffee from Georgia be luckiest. From Latepia, cause she be luckiest. Me and you go be luckiest. No matter why you're luckiest. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God up boom. If you're poor, what's that? So would the coming of the son of man be.
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Goodluck no check me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt. Yes. And then boom. Confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like 7.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, do you have family for my seminar? Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Victory, celebration, legacy. It's 40 years of Jesus is our victory. Join Victory Bible Church International for the Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. A power-packed celebration marking 40 glorious years of God's faith and God's grace. It all begins on Saturday, 12th October with the Mega Praise and Worship Night, a night of pure gratitude and praise. Then get ready for the Wonder Walk on October 25th, a citywide walk of testimony and victory. From October 27th to the 30th of October, the Wonderful Jesus Conference continues live at the VBCI Dominion Sanctuary, Awoshi Junction. Expect nothing but divine encounters, miracles, and transformation. On October 31st, meet us at the Independence Square for a nationwide gathering of worship, power, and the Word. Then on November 1st, join the outreach program at Mancho Agbona. Then let's touch lives and share the love of Jesus Christ. And finally, the grand service at the Independence Square on November 2nd. Come and witness the glory of 40 years of victory. Ministering are Bishop N.A. Takiyaboy, Bishop Clement Amankwa Isehene, Bishop Elijah Saforo, and Bishop Emmanuel Akon. Wonderful Jesus Conference 2025. 40 years of grace, power, and impact. From the 12th of October to the 2nd of November. Victory Bible Church International invites you to celebrate Jesus because Jesus is our victory.
You're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. I'm here with Richard Ahiamba, the Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party, and also Hamza Suheni. He's a lawyer and a member of the NDC's communications team. Richard, I guess I'm not sure if you would really want to have a go at this buffer stock matter, because I think it's a straightforward matter.
Yes,
it's going to court to see what the court will say.
Yeah.
So I guess that would move on to some other issue, which has to do with the health ministers back and forth with a private company. And it was yesterday, as part of the government's accountability series, the health minister addressed the press, and it had to do with some matters relating to health information systems.
But you have read that matter, so I think we should.
Which one? No.
The
one I read was buffer stock. Yes.
Yeah. So let's just talk about.
You want to talk about buffer stock?
Yeah.
There's really not much, is there?
Yeah, there's not. But
I was just updating our viewers that the man is going to court. That's all. So let's look at this one.
Richard.
Richard Agagba. All right, so allow him to bite on it. We have just 40 minutes to go, so we have to use the time to talk about this one. It's a very important development.
I'm also interested in that.
You mean the health one?
Not just the health one.
You mean buffer stock?
Okay, so it's an important Moro. The party I represent was founded on the principles of probity and accountability.
Okay.
And so it would be disingenuous and unfair to the principles or foundational principles of my party.
Okay.
If there is this topical issue, then we just decide to sweep it under the carpet.
All right.
I think
so let's do 5 UDCs. But the matter is in court, and you are a lawyer. You don't like it when the matter is in court. What do you call it? It's sub judice. The matter is sub judice. Sub judice. All right.
But you see that
you have your own opinion about that?
Absolutely. Not necessarily. I think that puts me in a better state in terms of how to communicate around the issue.
Okay. So the matter is not the matter. So it isn't an issue of you can't talk about it at all.
Yes.
But how
that's not the position of the law. Absolutely.
Right. So Moro, I think that Hamza has done well. In his rebuttal.
Oh, you are going back to.
Oh, no, we are dealing with this with the buffer stock matter. In his rebuttal, he has not succeeded in telling our viewers that, in fact, number to number, fiscal year to fiscal year, the NDC and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has performed better in terms of economic growth than the MPP. He hasn't done that.
But this has nothing to do with buffer.
Yeah, I'm just for the record. Okay. And so the issue of economic performance, and we are here, we are doing that. It is clear that when it comes to managing the economy, the MPP does a much better job. And I gave you the analogy whilst we're off air about why is it that we must continue to point out to the Ghanaian and to the NDC that the issue and the challenges that we face.
I hope I will be given an equal.
No, we are talking about the buffer stock.
That's not. We are not
so this
talking
is
about
just a segue into that matter. You understand? When it comes to the management of the economy, the New Patriotic Party's record stands out. But then we mark the issue of the DDP and the challenges, the turbulence that we went through post-COVID and all of that. We mark that. But today, though, the NDC, they are celebrating the DDP, the external component that has brought in some savings of about, I think about $4 billion, if my memory serves me right, and has given us some reprieve in terms of servicing our debt. The beneficiaries of that, in terms of governance, is the NDC. Okay, so if Hamza chooses to condemn it and all of that, that's okay. But we have taken the bitter pill, which the NDC has never taken. You remember the banking sector restructure. The NDC could have restructured the banking sector. They left it. Okay? They put Band-Aid on it. They were giving liquidity support to banks who were completely mismanaged, who were in difficult situations that needed them to be properly dealt with, management issues and all. But then they were putting a Band-Aid on it, giving them liquidity support, adding to the problem and worsening it till we came and took again the bitter pill to restructure the sector. Today the banking sector is doing well. They have come to inherit it again. My prayer is that they won't mess it up again. You understand? So that's a cycle. Moro, just a point before then I conclude on the buffer stock. You see, the record of this Fourth Republic, if you look at economic management, from His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings to Kufuor, okay, you inherit a slump from the NDC. The MPP comes in and builds it up. No, I'm just telling you the trajectory of economic management. You look at what we inherited from His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings under President Kufuor was a bad economy. We fixed it. What we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, economy in decline, we built it and gave him a growing economy, the challenges notwithstanding. Okay? So we have gotten to a place where they now have to carry on the baton and take us to the home stretch. Now they are engaged in a lot of talk. We are not seeing much. This whole year was no show, no disbursement, nothing. Okay, so we are going, the finance minister is coming to read budget in about a few weeks. When it does, their second year in office will begin. Perhaps we'll see some action, but perhaps nothing. But the record must reflect. Oh no, that's coming to the economic management.
You're still discussing economy.
Okay, no, let me just come. Yes. So the point is that in managing the economy, the NPP has done better. Okay. The challenges notwithstanding. All right. And Ghanaians will begin to see this picture crystal clear going into their second year. Right. That we have done much better. Okay. And as time goes on, this will become manifest. All right. You know, on the buffer stock issue, there's not much there to say, Moro, except to say that I agree with Hamza earlier on about people come to government, do A, B, C, D, and all of that. I want to just make this a small point on that to say that, look, Moro, the New Patriotic Party doesn't sanction or support any corrupt behavior. Okay, I know that for a fact. And so these matters that are coming, where individuals may have misconducted themselves, they don't reflect the best of the NPP. That's not the NPP's disposition. That's not who we are. That's not what we set out to do. Okay, in a bunch of people, you always have bad nuts. Okay, but what points I will make in addition to stating the NPP position that we will not support anything like this, and does not support it. The other point to be made is that at this present moment, Moro, at this material moment, anybody cited by this government, be it the case to do with NSA, the individuals involved, the former CEO, the deputy CEO, be it buffer stock, the CEO, and any other related persons in that matter. Now I understand the CEO is now formally charged. These individuals, under our laws, are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So that's my second point. So at this present time, they have not committed any crime until a court pronounced, having examined the evidence, okay, and come to a certain conclusion based on our laws, they have not committed any crime. Okay. The challenge has been that the Minister for Justice, the Attorney General, has been going to town, besmirching people's character, putting things up as though that the people have been adjudged criminals already. That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. Pronouncing people and acting this media blitz that he does to kind of put things out there even before they charge somebody. I don't think that that's right. So whilst we uphold the principle of accountability, of ensuring that decency in public office and accountability in terms of managing the resources that is given to your care as a CEO, as a minister, as what? We also believe that people's rights must not be trampled on necessarily. And in the event that the competent court examines the evidence that has been brought against these individuals to have misconducted themselves, corrupted themselves, let the law take its course. But until then, let's not media try people. Let's not mischaracterize and put information out there just to discredit people and in the process tarnish the New Patriotic Party or tarnish the record of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. He came, he has done what he's supposed to do, and I think that posterity would reflect kindly on what we came to do. That record in some will be judged in time. But individuals who are part of that team who has misconducted themselves, I want to say to you that would be the outlier if they are ever found to be guilty. There will be the outlier case. It will not be a reflection of the New Patriotic Party nor the agenda of the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government.
All right, Hamza.
Moro.
The accountability train is
I
moving.
can appreciate it is, but I can appreciate the frustration my brother finds himself in this moment, especially in relation to the issues of economic performance comparatively with the National Democratic Congress on one hand, and of course the political party that he represents, which is the NPP, an unfortunate political tradition that we have had to deal with since 1992. That has proven that it is the greatest threat to our democratic stability and quite recently to even our economic gains. And so I was surprised that my brother sought to create an impression that when it comes to economic record, they do well than the National Democratic Congress. That is far-fetched.
No,
their record of economic management is known. You see, these are a bunch of people who are committed to quick fixes and engineering of economic data that was even exposed at a point in time by the IMF, if you remember, Moro, in terms of how they even computed our external debt. So your record is known when it comes to engineering of these figures to demonstrate or to sort to create an impression as though you are doing well. But in no time, you are mostly exposed. My brother, I'm disappointed that you even had to make references to the President Kufuor era. After we handed over power to you in 2000, again, with positive signs of economic progress and recovery, you had to seek refuge in a redenomination exercise in 2007 after President John Agyekum Kufuor. Have you forgotten?
Right.
It was simply because you once again decided to engage in propaganda way of managing the economy. And you were exposed in no time. And your only way out was simply to take advantage of redenomination to bury your incompetencies and corruption. That was your record. It was the redenomination exercise that gave you an opening out of the way. Fast forward, in 2023, the propaganda began to give way once again to your incompetence and appetite to engineer economic growth figures. What did we do as a country? You subjected us to a debt exchange program at the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian worker. In your bid, oh, now you are saying it's that first of. In your bid to hide your incompetencies and reckless handling of our Ghanaian economy. The NDC has never had such a record, where in the past it had to rely on redenomination to save our economy or come on board with a policy as difficult as domestic debt exchange program. And of course, a foreign component of it intended to salvage our economy. Have you forgotten that at a point you were even relying on deductions from Momo to save this economy? We've never been anywhere close to such a record because we are not a party known for engineering economic growth figures. We present them as they are. And my brother sought to create an impression or create a comparison between 2013 to 2016 and that of their 8-year tenure as far as our economic fundamentals are concerned. Remember, Moro, that when they first assumed office in 2017 and we sought to engage them in a comparative analysis of our economic situation, they told us that it will be disingenuous on the part of the NDC to compare an 8-year record to their first term. Do you remember these excuses? Right. And so an effective way of comparison, Richard, is to take the NDC's second term, that is 2012 to 2016, as against the NPP's second term of 2020 to 2024, and let us look at the growth figures. In 2013, our second term, our growth rate in terms of GDP was about 7%, in excess of 7%. In your second term, from 2020, Moro, to 2024, your 2021 growth rate was 0.51%.
Now you mean 2020? That's 2021.
2021.
No, 2021 was 5.3.
My brother.
No, 2020 is what you're talking about. 2020.
So, well, I said that you can.
Because 2020, we
are you going to allow me to make my submissions?
Oh, no, just a small.
No, you can come in. You can come in and raise your own issues.
You are right, but it's just that.
So 20, yes. So 0.51%. Yeah. Even your 2021%, if we are to go by the 5.18%, it was still far less than NDC's GDP growth of 7.1% in its second year, as far as the 2023 is concerned, 2013 is concerned. And 2014 rather.
No,
so,
but that's at Mills.
Oh my goodness! Well, in the second term was President Mahama was Atta Mills president. In our second term was president. I am comparing our figures in second term as against your figures in second term, and I am telling you that even if you take that data, the NDC still did better, and even in the midst of all that, the NDC did not announce a debt exchange program. Absolutely not. Neither did we announce. Please, neither did we announce a redenomination of our currency.
A redenomination is not bad, though.
Oh, my brother, I am telling you that was what you guys sought to do to hide your inefficiencies from 2007, when you realized that your propaganda had catch up with you. And now, under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, again you had to take refuge in a debt exchange program when your propaganda caught up with you. The NDC, we do not have such a record when it comes to the management of our economy. And that is why we are better managers of the economy, because we don't manage the economy based on propaganda. Your own flag bearer in the last election, and now seeking to be flag bearer again, and Vice President of the Republic of Ghana under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, what promises didn't he make in terms of the economy that you guys wanted to lead? So your economic indicators have always been rooted in propaganda and deception. That is not the NDC. So you cannot compare us when it comes to commitment to economic recovery and the kind of investments we put in that regard. And my brother sought to belittle the issues of corruption.
No,
look, corruption is inextricably linked to economic development and arguably economic growth. And you simply do not seek to whitewash the NPP by saying that some few elements within the NPP. Absolutely not. It is your brand, even if it is a single person. And in this instance, we are not talking of a single person. Moro, look, we have National Service Secretariat. I am sure my brother is appalled and embarrassed by the contents of the investigations that are coming out, what their appointees were engaged in. Now, Buffer Stock Company has been exposed. Electricity Company of Ghana. In excess of over, what do you call it? I'm told that they even exceeded their budget in excess of over 181 billion Ghana cedis, or million Ghana cedis. Right? Or billion, I think it's around in billions. So that is your record with nothing to show. Rooted in corruption. So it is not just Buffer Stock alone we are dealing with, Moro. So this should give you an idea of the kind of looting that was being carried out under the cover of darkness under Nana Addo's presidency and that of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia as vice president. These were the people who promised in opposition to protect the public purse. So this is not light. It gives an indication of the character of the New Patriotic Party. So it is not enough to say some elements within the New Patriotic Party. Absolutely not. Look, as we speak today, your finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, a cousin to His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, is still on the run.
He's not been charged
because of his questionable financial transactions.
Moro, he's not been charged with any crime.
Moro, the gentleman is even running away from accountability. No. It's a basic component of democratic governance. No, if you have served your republic and there are questions for you to answer, it is only proper Hamza, that you make yourself. Can I make my point?
Just help me. No, I'm not interrupting you.
My brother, I'm not here to answer your questions. I'm not here to answer your questions.
No, but we are learning.
No, but I'm not here. After I'm done with my submission, you can ask your question.
Ken is unwell. He's unwell.
Oh, my brother. Are you going to allow him to do that?
No, come on.
Ken is unwell.
He's not charged with any crime.
So why are you so jittery with my submission? When you were talking, I was quiet.
No problem.
I had disagreements. Don't be jittery.
You are nice, so you give more time.
Don't be jittery. Moro.
You know, Andy can get extra time.
Oh my goodness. Richard, why are you doing this today? Why are you doing this?
No, I'm helping to get more time.
They say that
tell Andy whatever she does to get more time.
So you see, it is not just an individual problem. It is a political party problem. We are talking about a party that even in government, a sitting cabinet minister opted to buy assets belonging to the state. And yet that minister was not fired by the president then. He still continued to sit in cabinet and today has the effrontery to even tell us that he's running to become president. This was the level of degeneration that we're subjected to as a country. And for many of us who still hold strongly to the foundational principles of the National Democratic Congress, rooted in probity and accountability, indeed, the crimes that have been unveiled under this regime, even Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, if it were to be in the 70s, 79 specifically, when we did the house cleaning exercise, I am sure many of them would have faced the firing squad by now if we were to reverse what is happening, because they would have been viable candidates for execution. Our compatriots, our senior compatriots died for less. Moreover, when we talk about corruption, it borders on the health of the nation. Look at our compatriots. Look at the citizens of Ghana. Look at how they suffer on a daily basis in our hospitals. Because there are certain basic drugs that we cannot afford to even get our hospitals running. And yet still we have the likes of Hanan, alleged, and Odubuahin and Co. alleged to have siphoned such huge sums of money. This should annoy any person who is interested in the progress of this country. Ken Ofori-Atta, after serving this country for good 8 years, decided to abscond from accountability. And the MPP thinks that it is okay. And their defense is that he has not been charged.
He's seeking medical treatment in America.
And their defense is that he has not been charged.
He has not run away. He's seeking medical
We
treatment.
all know that even at the point that his conditions was calling for him to resign as finance minister, this gentleman failed to resign.
That's also true.
That should be a
so what has changed?
That should be a feather in his cap.
No,
wait.
So why would such a person, today that he appears even healthy and hearty?
How do you know? They said the man is seeking help.
My brother, the guy decided to run away from the country after President Mahama was sworn into office. Everybody knows as a matter of fact. He ran away from the country. When was he ever? Richard, please, you will have your turn. When has he ever left this country for that long? Even when it was obvious, your own MPs called on him to resign. And we had reports that he was unwell, even as sitting finance minister. And your own members of parliament called for him to resign. Did he resign? Did he? But because we are now dealing with issues of accountability, all of a sudden, he's so unwell to the extent that he cannot even take a flight to Ghana for a day or two to answer questions. He's not been charged in line with the principle of accountability. So when it was about being in charge of our money, he was in good health and he was willing to sacrifice his health conditions to be in charge of Ghana's money. But the time has come for accountability. All of a sudden, he cannot be found, and the likes of Richard,
no, because his health
who benefited nothing.
Because his health has deteriorated.
Who benefited nothing from his looting.
Hamza, because his health has deteriorated.
Oh, my brother, Richard, Moro. What you see, today you are being called to defend such looting. It is clearly unacceptable. Moro, the NPP is the greatest threat to our democratic and economic stability as a country.
Right.
And it is time we started dealing with it head on. And that is why many of us continue to argue that taking the NPP out of power in the last election is not enough. We must continue to bring sunshine, even on them, as they conduct their affairs in opposition. Okay. Because it is in the interest of every Ghanaian not to have these guys anywhere close to the presidency of this country. We cannot continue to be rolled back by the desires of the NPP to extort our limited resources.
Okay.
And we must show that revulsion.
Okay.
We must show that revulsion. I want us to see that revulsion. You see, unfortunately, that is one downturn of democratic governance. I have always argued that we should have had a system in place where even political parties beyond elections, the people would have a mechanism of continuing to evaluate, or the state, whether indeed certain political parties should still continue to function as political parties. because of their records in government. And if we have such a system, I'm quite convinced that the Ghanaian people or that system would have vomited out the New Patriotic Party as far as our political discourse in this country is concerned. And it would have been illegal for them to participate as MPP in the politics of this country, because they have taken this country for granted and they have committed heinous economic crimes.
So we're going to do this. We have just
against the Republic.
We don't end or take us off anyway, so it's not about me.
Moro.
We have just 6 minutes.
Moro.
And they'll take us off.
Moro.
So
Annie has a way of getting extra time.
No, if management believes that we need extra, they will give us.
But how is it that the Monday program is so favored? What is Annie doing?
Oh, no, she ends at 55. Once in a while, she gets a 5.
No, like the last time I was watching, Annie got plenty of time.
Yesterday, I got some 10 minutes extra.
Yesterday. So how about today?
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, Moro, you see, on the matter of 1979, I think that it doesn't deserve a mention from Hamza at all. The house cleaning, it doesn't deserve a mention.
It does.
It doesn't. So that one, it's my good brother. That one,
it does. I'm just making the point that if we were to roll back time, Nanado, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Ken Ofori-Atta would have been viable candidates for execution.
No problem.
No, I'm just making it. But you understand the context.
I get the point you're making.
But for the benefit of democracy,
certain kinds of memories. So let's
I maintain that that's a scratch. We scratched that off.
I get no, I don't.
I get the principle. But
I don't get it. We scratch it.
It's an analysis I am making, and I needed to give you that background.
But that was so an emphatic point to make. It's not, you can do your analysis
but
without that.
But you know it is the truth.
No.
That if it were to be those days, these candidates, these people I mentioned, would have been viable candidates. You know, as a matter of principle. But thankfully, we have gone past that stage.
I'll show you why I made that point. You see, Moro, when all is said and done, people who were part of that house cleaning had skeletons in their closet. So are we to say that for those people we should go back to 79 and house clean them?
That's not the analysis I made.
No,
that's not the analysis.
No, that's a consequence of what you have mentioned. No. The people who came to clean house, murdered people, abused people, ended up doing the very thing they cleaned the house, off. They messed up. Why? Today when we are talking, you have charges against people, but the record of this Fourth Republic is that the party whose members have been convicted of corruption is the NDC.
That question will be answered shortly. And when we begin answering that question, don't run away. Because you were fortunate to have a president in President Mills who was interested in retrieving the loot rather than incarcerating people. That was a presidential policy decision that he made as president.
If there were evidence, they would have taken people to court. There was none. So spare President Mills and let him rest in peace. The point is that record is the NDC's. So Hamza cannot, in good conscience, be saying that MPP is corrupt. No, there's no evidence.
I am sure the likes of Hanan, Edu Buahin, and what's his name, Ken Ofori-Atta, will be so uncomfortable with your submission today, especially seeking to create a comparison.
It's okay.
In terms of parties that have succeeded in putting people behind bars. I hope you know what you are doing against them.
Moro has not managed to get.
Well, I wish you well, but I know they won't be happy with you this morning.
The point I am making is that, as a matter of fact, what you stated is inaccurate. No member of the New Patriotic Party has been prosecuted for any corruption. You can have charges against people and you are a lawyer, you'll be the first person to defend that position, that the person is not guilty until pronounced guilty by a competent court. Okay? So that fact must be stated. I have chills. Let me, just so you can hear me again, I get chills for hearing the kinds of monies that are involved in all these allegations against people. Okay, when they talk buffer stock, they talk NSA, whatever. I get chills. That why would anybody do something like that? Okay, but I want to repeat the point that when you find something like that and people are taken to court and found guilty as a result, that is not the reflection of the New Patriotic Party. That's an outlier case. Our program is to advance and grow this country in freedom. That's our proposition. That's what we choose. That's what we elect to do. That's what
even the freedom. Hold on. We can have an analysis on the word freedom under Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We can have that debate.
No problem. We can have it. Where in your case now, you have taken aim at the judiciary that is designed to be the vanguard of that freedom. So you can't go into that conversation. Okay?
I'm willing to go into that conversation with you.
When we have moved on, 24 years on, you are now aiming at controlling and curtailing free speech with some kind of very bizarre bill that you're bringing to Parliament to pass, to control people from speaking in a democracy. What is a democracy without free speech? Nothing. It's a dictatorship. That gives me worry when you are now citing 79 house cleaning as a glorious period in our history. A blot. A period which is a blot. A blot more so because the people who were engaged in that house cleaning ended up being corrupt themselves. So what are you trying to tell me? Look, Moro, where I am as a member of the New Patriotic Party, Director of Communication, I am concerned about what your governance is to give Ghana. I want it to be good. But you cannot help your government by just engaging in talk.
All right.
What they have done so far is talk. The oral they talked about, which you have put on the screen.
Yes.
What is the verdict from the one of the committee members? Yao Domolovo, what did he say? That they receive a bunch of garbage. Now, which garbage? They have created the impression around the country that these people are corrupt. But meanwhile, they collected garbage and then portrayed that as though that people were thoroughly corrupt.
Our time is up.
So I'm just saying.
Our time is up.
It's okay, but I'm just saying that. My good brother
I still have the right of it.
But his defense.
But he came in before me.
This one was a joint discussion.
No, it was not.
It was not.
No, even when I was speaking, I had to come in and tell you to stop. No, you started from him.
No, it started from
No, you started with him. You see there.
You see everything that he's talked about.
No, you started with him.
I gave him time. He interrupted.
The Hanan issue, you started with him.
He decided to talk about the economy.
Absolutely, and I came to respond. So now you've gone back to him. So I yes. No. Annie should not do that. Annie should not do that. The production team. No.
So Hamza,
I still have to respond. Today they are protest.
No problem. That's what Hamza doesn't joke with his responses.
So what
he's very passionate about his responses.
We still have 7 minutes, so I'm entitled to respond.
No. It's not 7 minutes. We're supposed to end at 55.
So is he?
Then I'll use that 2 minutes.
No.
I need to respond.
You take his time. You take his time.
Yeah. So I'll land. So the point.
Are you going to allow him to take my time?
Please take the 2 minutes. Please take the 2 minutes.
Briefly on the issue on the issues of freedom. Is Richard talking about freedom? Has he forgotten?
You have removed the Chief Justice.
The fate of the likes.
You have removed the Chief Justice.
The fate of the likes of Manasseh Azura Awuni, who under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the MPP had to be flown out of this country for their safety because of the work they were doing to expand the frontiers of free speech.
Okay.
Have they forgotten the fate of Ahmed Swale, who was gunned down, a journalist, on the streets of Accra for simply daring to expose corruption in the NPP regime? Have you forgotten how radio house stations were locked down under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo?
Okay.
Under questionable regulatory mechanisms.
But that
is your record. And today you have the effrontery to sit on this platform and make references to issues of freedom as being a fundamental pillar of the New Patriotic Party. Unbelievable.
Let me just read just 2 messages. Just 2 messages.
Victory Garlic Mixture na wati ni bi na ate ni say na eduro ni tie na no pasem ni say eduro we adwuma enye titiri pa ni say ebeboa anane na ne srade ewo ni badua ni muntin mu ama ohu atọ kura de dika obabi wo ho a okomfikyiri a ema eduro ewu hia ye Victory Garlic Mixture ebi kura wo bekọ a ewie wo ansan